So there's a lot of NBA fans saying that their team this, their team that is going to win the championship. They're favored to win the championship. Well, there's one team that people are kind of overlooking that might win the championship this year. I'm not saying that they're going to win it, but they're real contenders. And there's a lot of Western Conference teams that might be favored to win the championship. Obviously, we got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the defending champs with the Los Angeles Lakers. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, Los Angeles Clippers, if PG could get his shit together in the playoffs. And also you got the Phoenix Suns if y'all want to slide them in there with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton as they're the second seed. But there's a team that people are really not considering as real title contenders, and y'all guessed it, the Denver Nuggets. But before I get started with this video, make sure y'all subscribe to my channel, hit that bell for notifications, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram. My links are down below in the description box. And let's get started with this video about why people should take the Denver Nuggets seriously and why they're legit contenders. And people need to wake up and start paying attention to the Denver Nuggets, because they're not no joke this season, especially in the playoffs, because we seen it last year as they were a real contender in the playoffs as they made it to the Western Conference Finals, as they obviously fell against the Los Angeles Lakers, the eventual NBA champions. But the Denver Nuggets, they showed that they could be real contenders, as coming into this season we had a lot of expectations for them, as last year in the playoffs they came back from multiple 3-1 deficits, including a team that was favored to win the championship in the Los Angeles Clippers. So we had a lot of expectations coming in for the Denver Nuggets, especially from their two stars, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. As coming into this season, the Nuggets were in a bit of a struggle, as defensively they weren't the same as last year due to the departure of Jeremy Grant, as their defense kind of slipped off a little bit. That's the reason why they struggled in the beginning of the season, but they were able to pick up the slack, and now they're back to a top 5 seed in the Western Conference. But I'm obviously going to start off with their superstar, and Nikola Jokic, as Nikola Jokic this season having one hell of a season, as he's a top 3 candidate for MVP. In my opinion, the best center in the league, debatable Joel Embiid, but Nikola Jokic, he's been having one great season. He's a top 3 MVP candidate, and a lot of people think that he might win it because the Denver Nuggets has been in a one hell of a run, as they won 6 in a row ever since the Aaron Gordon trade. And Nikola Jokic has obviously been putting up his numbers even without some of his co-stars, as this season Jokic is averaging 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. And he's doing it on some great shooting splits of 57% from the field and 42% from 3, as Nikola Jokic is having his season. Then we go to his co-star in Jamal Murray, who's been having a solid season as well, as this season Jamal Murray's putting up numbers of 21 points on 45% shooting from the field. And as great as Jamal Murray is, that bubble run, it was good, but I kind of want to see what he can do in front of fans, because Jamal Murray was on a whole different level in the bubble, as he was like arguably a top 10 to 15 player while in the playoffs, because he was balling, outplaying way off P himself, and also having a battle with Donovan Mitchell. But Jamal Murray, he could be hot and he could be cold sometimes. And defensively, sure, he could try on defense a little bit, but he's not a great defender. Jokic, he could be kind of a liability. That's why the departure of Jeremy Grant really hurt them, because Jeremy Grant was their key defender, especially in the playoffs. Because we all know what happened in that Clippers series. Jeremy did a great job on Kawhi Leonard, especially in Game 7 and 6, as Kawhi struggled in those second halves due to the defense of Jeremy Grant. And they missed that real poorly, because that's what the Denver Nuggets' weakness is, defense. And we all know that Michael Porter Jr. is not a great defender. Jokic is not a great defender. Murray's not a great defender. And that's why it led to the pickup of Aaron Gordon. And as great as those guys are, they're not as great as defenders. That's why it led to the pickup of Aaron Gordon in the trade deadline. because they needed some guy like Aaron Gordon to be flexible on defense and also mobile, can catch lobs, can also play a little bit of defense. That's exactly what the Denver Nuggets needed, just like how they did with Jeremy Grant. As ever since Aaron Gordon got to the Denver Nuggets, they are 7-0 ever since he got there. Yes, they are 7-0 ever since they got there. So that's why I say people really need to watch out for the Denver Nuggets, because Aaron Gordon, people really think that he's a LeBron stopper, which is kind of ridiculous. We all know how LeBron is in the playoffs. He's a different breed. But Aaron Gordon, he could try his best against LeBron, maybe. More or less, that's all talk and all hype for Aaron Gordon. And he might get his shit cooked by LeBron, but Aaron Gordon, don't sleep on his defense now. He's a really good defender. Like, he's mobile to play defense. He's flexible to play defense. That's why the Denver Nuggets picked him up, because they need a guy like him to hold on to the defensive end, while Jokic and Murray handle things on the offensive side, and while Aaron Gordon's there for defense, because that's all he's there for, is to play defense, dunk the ball, catch lobs, and that's it. Like, that's all he has to do, because when he was with the Orlando Magic, he really wasn't much of that. He was really much of a scorer. Sure, he was good on defense, but they mostly used him as like a second option or a third option. But as an offensive player, Aaron Gordon's really not that good. We seen it in Orlando. And I kind of gave up on Aaron Gordon while he was with the Magic, because we all know he wasn't an all-star. He wasn't a superstar. He's not even a star, actually. He's just a good player. That's how I seen Aaron Gordon with the Orlando Magic. He's just another great player. And so I think for the best decision for the Magic was just to trade him. They traded Vucevic. What's the problem trading Aaron Gordon? They need to start all over. Now Aaron Gordon's with the Denver Nuggets. Now he's contending with the Nuggets, who made it to the Western Conference Finals the previous year. And people really need to start paying attention to the Nuggets. As sure, the Los Angeles Lakers are obviously the favorite to come out the West, but let's not act like Denver didn't give a run for their money. As sure, the Los Angeles Lakers beat them in 5 games, but let's not act like they didn't give a run for their money, as there's some games that the Denver Nuggets should have won. Obviously, in Game 2, we all know about that Anthony Davis game winner. So the Denver Nuggets, they're not easy to take down, and we seen that last year. But I still got the Lakers coming out the West, because number one, they're the champions, and number two, they just beat the Nuggets last year. But I'm not going to let those 5 games fool me, and I'm not going to let those 5 games fool everybody out there neither, because the Denver Nuggets, they were kind of close to pushing the Lakers. They might do it again this year if some of their key players can step up. So, in conclusion, do I think that the Denver Nuggets are legit contenders? The answer is hell yes, because people need to watch out for Denver. Because Denver, they're not the favorites to come out the West, but they're definitely a legit contender that could give the Lakers a run for their money. I'm not saying the Clippers, because they just beat the Clippers last season, and they could probably beat the Suns as well. And the Denver Nuggets, they could shock everybody. I'm not saying they could beat the Lakers or nothing. They probably could. They probably can't. But they did lose to the Lakers last season. But they might be close against the Lakers, because they learned from that loss from last season. Now the pickup of Aaron Gordon might push them through. And also Michael Porter Jr., if he could step up, the Denver Nuggets are really, really going to be dangerous. So NBA, it's time to pay attention to the Denver Nuggets, because they're coming. Don't sleep on the Denver Nuggets, because they're coming for real. They are legit title contenders. And for the people that's sleeping on them, wake up, because that's what the Clippers did. They slept on the Denver Nuggets, and the Nuggets caught them slipping. But that includes this video. Make sure y'all like, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell for notifications, or what y'all think about this video. Are the Denver Nuggets legit title contenders? Make sure y'all stay safe and stay healthy, y'all. This your boy Lil Trey D signing out. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Peace.